City of Racine Common Council. The first order of business after calling the order is the pledge of allegiance to the flag. If you could please rise as you are able and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Might need to mute yourself. Okay. Alder Horton, did we have any excused absences for today?
No, not.
And we're having a bit of a technical problem with the feedback. All right, we will proceed. Then President Horton, at this time, would entertain a motion to approve the council proceedings or minutes from July 15th, 2025.
Move to approve. Second.
There's a motion and a second from Alder Pavone. Any discussion on said minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. We'll now move on to public hearings. I will ask the city clerk to read the procedure for public hearings.
The public comment segment is an opportunity for citizens to speak directly to the common council. Speakers will limit their remarks to 3 minutes. There shall be no dialogue or interaction between the speaker and elected officials or staff. This time is not intended to be a debate or discussion. The common council shall not hear any personal complaints or attacks against any city employee or elected official or any matter related to an individual claim, citation, appeal, or lawsuit. Profane, disruptive, threatening, or conduct that otherwise impedes the safe, orderly, and effective conduct of the common council meeting is equally unacceptable during the public comment period, as it is during all other portions of city meetings. When a group of people representing one viewpoint wishes to address the council, one person should be appointed the designated speaker for the group. Candidates for public office may not use this opportunity to campaign for office. Speakers during the public comment period shall follow all rules of the common council and rulings of the chair, including a decision to terminate the remarks if the speaker does not adhere to these rules. Public comment shall be limited to ideas or concerns regarding the city of Racine. There will be 5 speakers this evening. The first is Brandon Campbell from 1600 Albert Street.
And just before the first speaker begins, I just want to remind everybody, you have 3 minutes. When your 3 minutes are up, the conversation ends. That's not a critique of what you're saying. It's just to keep everybody to 3-minute rule. So please proceed.
Good evening. I am most concerned about the lack of communications with resources and health services for the Racine County residents. Because of this, there's probably going to be a lot more people needing more help, given what's going on the federal level with people losing SNAP benefits. With the help of communication of local leaders, they should be able to give out resources to food pantries, free clinics, and help getting onto marketplace or any other health and food services. Because the library, not a lot of people attend. We need to have open communications regarding health and safety for the residents. Thank you.
The next speaker is Jeff Coe, 1044 Villa Street.
Evening, everybody. I'm here to talk about something we all should be concerned about, our water and wastewater utility bills. My water usage for the last quarter was $12.44. Here are the fees. Water service charge, $22.30. Public fire, $10.20. Sewer usage, $11.56. City sewer charge, $30. Household hazardous waste, 75 cents. Stormwater charge, $46.86. The total of fees for my water usage of $12.44 comes to $121.67. This is getting out of hand. How is it fair that the actual water usage is the smallest part of the bill? I'm trying to be mindful and conserve. The problem I have with this is that the user fees make up 90% of my bill. We all need to live within our means, but the city continues to do just the opposite. At budget time, I urge all the aldermen to look at these fees. The city is going to look at raising these fees, I believe, once again. They're going to raise the fees with the excuse of price of everything is going up. It is exhausting to feel you're being charged just for existing. I know I'm not the only one struggling with this. Something needs to change. The mayor's office needs to stop hiring people in his office, focus on the taxpayers in the city. A friend of mine owns a building in downtown. It has not been rented for nearly 6 months. His last quarterly bill was $154 with no water usage. How is this fair? On another topic, I hope you all really look at the Woodman's license. Thank you.
The next speaker is Oscar Salas, 521 6th Street.
Morning, everybody. Well, good afternoon. I just woke up. Long night. I come here today to speak to you guys about a couple different issues, and one of those that really hit me hard this week is the simple fact of the Racine Fire Department Local 321 and their memo that they put out to the news and media companies. They put it out to the public, and it's disheartening. It's disheartening to see that our fire department and our police department still does not have a contract. People say, oh, we're in negotiation. No negotiation. What is negotiation doing but sitting around twiddling thumbs? They go out there every single day. Sometimes the fire department is the first one on the scene that has to pull a body out of the river. Sometimes they have to go in there and they have to go to the domestic violence first and try to de-escalate the situation. Sometimes it's the police department that comes first. But for them to put out a memo that they're having to go through more litigation because they still don't have a contract, when they're on the front lines day after day after day, I would encourage each and every one of you sitting here today, including the mayor, to do a ride along with the fire department because they allow that. Do a ride along with the police department because they allow that. And see what they go on to every single day. And then wonder why they're asking for what they're asking for. They're not asking for millions of dollars for themselves to go in their pocket because 90% of them are the most beautiful people you'd ever meet. There's a kid suffering, they're gonna bring them a teddy bear. I'll give you a good example. There's an officer that's brand new on the force. Kid was having problems with his mom. It was turned into a domestic because he was throwing rocks at his mom, trying to hit his mom. What did that officer do after he got done with the situation? He went in his own pocket. Didn't let our company pay for it. Didn't let me as a citizen pay for it. But went in his own pocket and said, you know what, get whatever you want in the store. And he paid for that. They try to do what they can. But we're not giving them the tools that they need to do it. We're not giving them the tools they need to bring in more firefighters. We're not giving them the tools that they need to do more education, to bring more people into our community. Sit down, have a meeting, and discuss it. Please, Mayor, I'm begging you to sit down and have a conversation and work out a contract with fairness, equalness, and looking at what exactly they do for our community. Until that happens, we ain't gonna get nowhere. I hope you guys all have a good day. Think about what you do.
The next speaker is Ed Larkin, 2054 Orchard Street.
Hello, I'm here to talk about chess. That's what I do, is we teach chess in the community. I taught her when she was in the 3rd grade or so, and this is my first communipreneur. Communipreneurs are community advocates who enrich the community. So we're looking for more support from the city. We have meet here at the library bi-weekly on Wednesdays, but we also I teach chess within the school district within all of the schools, and we're starting. They want more tournaments, but we have what we call chess peace summits, and that's when we invite community leaders, first responders, teachers, and everyone to just play open free chess with the students. We would like some support from our government to just have we teach social emotional learning chess because we're seeing that our community, our students is They need social and emotional help. Chess is an intergenerational sport that all can be involved with, and we think that, by working with the cop houses, we have scheduled things with the cop houses. But again, we're just looking for support and any kind of resources. I'll let my, speak for a minute.
Hi, my name's Fantasia. I learned how to play chess by Mr. Larkin, and now I work in the school, and so he comes in and he teaches my students how to play, and I think that's a cool, like, full circle moment. And this is also my first city council meeting. I think it's pretty cool. I see some of my neighbors, some of my old classmates. I think we're to park together, go Panthers. But yes, no, I definitely think that chess is a good tool to present to kids. I brought my niece here, we check out a bunch of books, and now we're teaching her how to play chess a little bit, and I think we just need more support and extra push. Also the kids at the school, they're always engaged week after week with playing, so yeah, we just need push, support, and love from the community, to enrich our students, encourage them, and show them that there's other outlets in the city. Thank you.
Yes, our nonprofit started July 1st, so it's called Chessmates LTD, and we're really looking for support and possible committee members. Thank you.
The last speaker is Matt Ostergaard, 1433 Valley View Drive.
Good evening. I rise before you today really on two topics. First, I am a board member of the Veteran Outreach of Wisconsin. I refer to them moving forward as VOW. But two topics tonight. I recently applied for an open vacancy on the CDBG board as a person that lives outside of the Racine city limits. I live adjacent to it, but given my activities in the community and a 25-year Army retired veteran, I do a lot of work in the veteran service organizations here in the city. And as I just mentioned, I'm a board member of VOW. And so I was denied that application based on my lack of residency within the city, which by my understanding of the ordinance can be chaired or can be occupied by somebody that has special interest in the application of the community development funds or somebody that operates in space, and I do. So I come before anybody that's listening tonight to reconsider my application moving forward. The second thing I'd like to talk about tonight in terms of some of the activities for VOW. And recently the council is going to vote on CDBG program tonight. As the idiom goes, success has many fathers. Failure is an orphan. I'll accept failure as not getting any funds for VOW in this round in this federal funding round, but I just want to at least communicate now for in the future for future consideration what VOW does for this community. Based on 2023 data, 36% of the veterans in Racine County live in the city. That's roughly 5% of the city's population. For the first half of 2025, our Veterans Marketplace food pantry signed up 131 new veterans, and we are now serving 750 veteran households. We have distributed almost 193 tons of food in the first 6 months of 2025, and over 76,000 non-food items. Throughout the year, we maintain 15 tiny homes with 100% occupancy, providing at-risk veterans up to 24 months to get back on their feet. And our officers there at VOW have pushed that average stay down to 14 months, reintegrating them into the community, oftentimes in the city of Racine. We currently have 19 veterans signed up in our 9-line program to help combat suicide alone. So in the remaining time that I have left, we have been engaged with the city for over a year. To cultivate and try and get a housing program developed or rehab a house to expand our program. And we've been unsuccessful. And so I just want to close tonight and get that everybody in the Brain Housing Group. Thanks much.
This concludes the public comment segment.
We now move on to the next item, which is a public hearing to exceed geographical and quota restrictions for a Class A retail fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for Woodman's Food Mark Incorporated located at 5900 Avenue. The clerk could please call the first person registered to speak on the item.
Brandon Campbell, 1600 Albert Street.
Good evening. I do support the idea of giving Woodman's a Class A liquor license, as I work in a Class A establishment for Speedway. As long as there are certifications of the managers and the employees in the liquor department, I do believe that it should be in the best interest to give them the liquor license with the certifications and knowing that their managers and employees are thoroughly trained on how to do a sale and refuse a sale based on a person if they are intoxicated. When working at Speedway, I've been trained as well as taking courses to get my liquor license as well. Denying a liquor license can result in possible loss of sales for a company. As long as they have taken the appropriate steps, it should be in the best interest, make sure that every business knows the fairness of the licensing process and policies. Thank you.
The next speaker is Oscar Salas, 521 6th Street.
Afternoon, again, how you guys doing? Oh, it's been a long time. But, okay, I'm in support of any growth within the city, right? What I'm not in support of is not being fair. And I'm sorry to say it, I'm gonna be the one to say it, I'm gonna be the rare one here and not say fairness. A few of you guys a few weeks ago voted that we did not need more liquor establishments in the city. You voted that somebody did not get one. There are $2 million renovation project, $2 million that was gonna come into our city, that was actually gonna pay tax to our city. But I found out that Woodman's actually has a tax break. And wow, what a nail in the coffin in the thumb there. Now, what I have to look at in fairness is, you guys said that, oh, well, geographical, okay? You had a daycare center there, and I believe one other establishment for kids, okay? Now, let's look at Woodman's for a second here, guys, let's build the, if you guys need a map, please pull one out. You have a kids gym right across the street, you have a park, you have another park, you have a water department that is for a water thing for kids. And not only that, you have a sports complex that does all the youth football. So one of your things was saying that we don't need no more around children's events, well, it's right there. It's not like they're going to be giving anything back to the city. If they get a liquor license, hey, they're not gonna give anything back. If they don't give it, then they're not gonna be giving anything back. They have a tax break. Maybe let's see how this project runs for a year, like you said with the other one, and how they do in development within our community. And then revisit. That's what you said with the last one, let's revisit it. And you said that, oh, I don't want any more liquor around kids and daycares. That's what I heard about from a lot of people. And I heard from the community that a lot of people don't want to see it. I put a poll online again to see what the statistics were within our community. And I got a lot of good feedback. And a lot of people saying that, hey, trial runs, they should get it, yes, but we should do a trial run. Maybe give them a beer license, see how they do. You know, you gave a liquor license to somebody that lied in an application and gave them a temporary one. Maybe we baby feed them like we're baby feeding everybody else for the growth of the city. The thing is you have to go on fairness. Fairness is you denied a liquor license to a $2 million project over a daycare center. We have at least 5 different children's centers within that area. I'm only speaking through a media aspect here because this is what I'm getting from my people online. When I ask questions to the community, they tell me what they want to see. And I have to bring that to you because some of them are too scared to come up to this committee for retaliatorial purposes to their business. So we have to be the one to speak up for them. and what they're saying, and what they messed up privately, and what they consistently say. I'm not picking on anybody, I'm not saying anything on this or anything like that, but there's a few of you here sitting at this table that said, I got phone calls from people and my constituents that don't wanna see another liquor license. Are we gonna vote on fairness? Are we gonna vote on what the city needs? It's not like it's gonna bring anything better to the city, if they get it or if they don't get it. If they get it, cool, they get it. But are they gonna bring anything back? They got a tax break. Not gonna do anything. If they don't get it, we see how they operate, we see how the function goes. And we pull it back for maybe 6 months to a year. Let's see how they do. Let them prove to this community that they want this. You didn't give the other one that opportunity to prove themselves. At least this one is still moving forward and prove themselves. Vote how you voted last time, with fairness and integrity.
The next speaker is Colin McKenna, 724 Crabtree Lane.
Good evening. I'm speaking in favor of the Class A liquor license. I hope you approve it for Woodman. Because, your grocery store in Racine, like Pick and Save by the mall, they have a liquor license. And, Piggly Wiggly on Durand Avenue, they also have a liquor license. So I urge that you support this Class A liquor license for Woodland grocery stores. Many of the grocery stores in Racine and Mount Pleasant do have liquor license in their grocery store. So please support this for Woodland.
The last speaker is Jeff Coe, 1044 Villa Street.
I'm not against this place. What I'm against is the way the process went when the mayor vetoed the other place. He said there's too many liquor establishments in an area. That's one of the big things. Well, guess what? There's liquor licenses of restaurants and everything all over Alpine Mall. And we're not being fair, just because these guys got millions of dollars from the city. And also they're gonna be paying money back to the city, and that, it's not fair. We turned down something that was in the inner city for $2 million. No, it doesn't sound like a lot of money compared to Woodman. But it is a lot of money for this neighborhood. And we were not fair about it at all. Mayor, you were wrong on this whole thing, and I'm gonna tell you that right now. I am not against this license, but you guys all supported it for this license, and then he vetoed it, and then boom, all of a sudden it was shot down. How is that? Why is that? You guys have a conscience on what you guys do. A few years ago, when I was on that committee, when Target came in and wanted a liquor license, we voted no for the liquor license. They eventually got a beer license, but we voted no on Target. I didn't hear anybody vetoing anything on that. And all I'm saying is, I just don't wanna see this. I was here for that last meeting. All the people, all the questions, all the time that was taken. And I'll bet you when the discussion comes up about Woodman's, it's gonna take 5 minutes and everybody here has been supportive. And I don't have a problem with the support of them, but I do have a problem with fairness across the board, and it's not happening in this city. Thank you.
This concludes the public hearing.
This concludes the public hearing on the hearing to exceed geographical and quota restrictions for a Class A retail fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for Woodman's Food Mart Incorporated, located at 5900 Durand Avenue. We now move on to communications introduced to council. The first item for referral is a referral to committee of the whole. Alder Horton, could you read that item? Or, I'm sorry, would you make a motion for referral regarding that item?
I make a motion. Make a motion to,
Refer.
Second.
So motion and a second to refer the item. All those in favor of referral the item, please say aye. Oh, I'm sorry, Alder Perez, you had a question?
Yes, sir. I'd like to amend that paragraph to read, to include the chief of police and have it in closed session due to the sensitive nature of the strategies being like.
Second.
There's a motion for an amendment. It's been seconded by Alder Widener. Discussion on your amendment. So Alder Horton, would you like to read the item in its full?
Yes, 0782-25 communication response by Alder Mack, requesting that Community Safety Director Tate gives a presentation on following status of its comprehensive plan to an analysis of gunfire and shooting calls in Racine this year. Third one, the strategy being implemented to address gun violence in Racine.
Yeah, there's an amendment to this item to include the chief of police in the presentation and to hold the item in closed session. Been moved and seconded. Alder Perez, do you want to speak to your amendment?
Yeah, I think it's important that we as alders understand what's going on in the community. We get a lot of questions and we really don't have answers to them because this information is not being communicated to us. I think we have it in closed session, even though I'm sure they won't be able to share all the strategies. At least it'll give us an idea of what's going on in the community and we can better respond to our constituents and a knowledge for ourselves. You know, we've had some pretty tragic weeks in the last month or so. And it's important for us to know how to represent the city well and how to have informed answers to questions that are addressed.
Alder Thompson?
I agree with the sentiment of trying to make sure that we keep some of these strategies a little bit, you know, tucked away, but I think that if we do this in closed session, that we still need to make sure that there's some kind of report that's given to the public and everybody so that they can also have an understanding. Maybe afterwards or something, just so that. Cause I mean, I got that support, I just wanna make sure that we also have some kind of information out there for the residents who will like to go forward at some point.
Alder Horton?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would be in support of that, that the chief and Director Tate come in and have a conversation about, yes, some of the things that's happening in the city. We have had a couple weeks of tragedy in the city. The second thing is just for Alder Townsend, there are some alders are talking about having some town halls. And maybe when we have that opportunity, we bring them back into that space to talk about some of the programming or some of the things that are being done. So maybe we can get together the alder from the 15th. It was kind of to put things together for the public, that we can have that conversation so that the public can hear, like, you know, sort of what's going on and what is being done in the city.
Just to Alder Thompson's point, the committee should decide to do part of the meeting in closed session for the pieces of it that they feel are sensitive and strategic, and then come into open session and have a more outward facing conversation about it as well. So the one doesn't prohibit, you can do both, I guess, is the point. I think you're going to be careful to keep things that are pertinent to closed session in closed session, but Alder Thompson's point, it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be part of it in closed and part of it in open. Any other discussion on the amendment? Seeing, so again, what we're voting on now is not the full referral, it's an amendment to the referral to include the police chief and to go in closed session for the pieces as needed. When the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish.
Alder Kelly,
Aye.
1 second, please, hold on, the sound is down.
Aye.
Thank you. Alder Harmon.
Aye.
Alder Pabon.
Aye.
Alder Frazier.
Aye.
Alder Townsend.
Aye.
Alder Davis.
Aye.
Alder Mack.
Aye.
Alderman Widener.
Aye.
Alder Horton.
Aye.
Alder Escada.
Aye.
Alder Allen.
Aye.
Alder Pete.
Aye.
Alder Land.
Aye.
Alder Perez.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 no's.
The amendment is passed. Alder Widener?
Thank you. I would like to make an amendment to this, and that we have a date certain for after 30 days. The polling center will be the president. And the down will be the period when we're starting having several people with the budget. So I'd like to see what's really take place. The 30 days with some date set.
Second.
The motion, the amendment to the referral is to make it date certain by within 30 days, is that it? Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Alder Horton, do you want to speak to the item at all in terms of your intentions around timelines?
No, I'm in agreement with it. I know that we have long budgets coming right around the corner, and so I'm willing to have that meeting within 30 days.
Okay. So motion to have this item within, an amendment to the main motion to have this item within 30 days. All those in favor of the amendment to the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Now to the referral item, all those in favor of referring this item to the committee of the whole as twice amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Alder Land, would you like to make the motion regarding referral to the items on your agenda?
Move to refer the following items to the Finance and Personnel Committee. Item 0749-25, communications sponsored by myself, submitting the claim of Benny Dunn for consideration of disallowance. Item 0752-25, communication by myself, submitting the claim of Summerall Q on behalf of its clients to consideration for disallowance. Item 0753-25, communication sponsored by myself, submitting the claim of the State of Wisconsin Department of Administration on behalf of their employee, Darlene Bard, for consideration for disallowance. Item 0756-25, communication sponsored by myself on behalf of the Finance Director requesting permission to submit the presentation of the second quarter 2025 fiscal results. Item 0762-25, communication by Alder Horton on behalf of the city engineer requesting permission to apply for Washington Avenue HIS grant program. Item 0776-25, communication sponsored by Mayor Mason, seeking authorization for the city of Racine to enter into a governmental entity and shareholder direct settlement agreement and Purdue Pharma, U.S. Bank of Seaport Southern District, case number 19-3649. Item 077-25, communication sponsored by Mayor Mason, requesting approval to enter into an agreement with the Racine Zoologic Group Society to identify a site for the construction of Conservation Education Center and approve a ground lease for the construction and maintenance of the veterinary hospital and the city owned land, the Racine Zoo. And this will again, these items to finance and the personnel.
The motion to refer these items to finance personnel, there was a second by, I didn't see who made the second. Alder Thompson made the second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Moving on next to the referral to Public Works and Services, Alder Mack.
Make a motion to refer the following items to Public Works and Services, item 0670-25, communication from Alder Jorgensen and Perez requesting consideration of placing stop signs on Lombard Avenue and St. Clair Street. Item 0748-25, communication on behalf of Darlene Hartman of Better Ways Deliverance Ministries requesting to close Washington Avenue from Hayes Avenue to Linderman Avenue for their church back to school giveaway and cookout on August 30th. Item 0750-25, communication on behalf of the city engineers submitting amendment to contract 2024-441, three-party consulting engineering service contract between the city, WISDOT, and Baxter Woodman for state project 2703-08-01/71. Item 0751-25, communication on behalf of the city engineer requesting approval of transportation project plat for state project ID 2703-08-01 South Memorial Drive. Item 0780-25, communication on behalf of the Department of Public Works submitting change order number 1 to contract 2023-020 downtown lighting improvements. Item 0781-25, communication on behalf of the Department of Public Works submitting final payment for contract 2023-020 downtown lighting improvements. Item 0754-25, communication on behalf of Nicola Skatanovich of St. George Serbian Orthodox Church, requesting to utilize parking on both sides of State Street from Huron to Superior and along the east side of Superior for their church festival on August 30th and August 31st.
There's second for the referral, second from Alder Perez. All those in favor of these referrals, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Moving on to public safety and licensing, Alder Whitehead, would you like to make a motion regarding these referrals?
Items to public safety and life committee. Item 07-1-25, communication sponsored by Alder Kelly for discussing with the City Police Department regarding the RPD response plan. Item 0768-25, communication sponsored by Alder Kelly, Special Agent Ryan Walmart. With the Wisconsin Department of Revenue come to present to public safety and licensing such information and facts regarding the state regulations regarding liquor and vape license. 0770-25, communication on behalf of Joy LaCap, requesting Peak Police from Thursday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. From 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. in the downtown. 10 a.m. No, it should be 10 p.m. 3 a.m. But look on this trend, if I can. Look it straight down to me. 0771-25, communication on behalf of the City of Racine Police Department for the license report. 0772-25, communication submitting an application for a premise description change for Chartwell Restaurant LLC DBA located at TMI God Street. Jenny Natty, First District, invited. Item 0773-5, communication submitting an application for a premise description change for the Bridge Center Tavern LLC DBA located at 303 Dodge Street. Jenny Natty, First District, invited. 0774-25, communication requesting any consideration, any formal expression of concern or other actions pursuant to the police report. 0778-25, communication on behalf of the city attorney requesting that assistant city attorney present a settlement agreement regarding the disciplinary proceedings against Select 627 LLC, DBA the Select, located at 1111 Washington Avenue. Natasha Evans, agent. 0783-25, communications submitting a renewal of cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device, retail license application for Dalton Corp. LLC. Dollar General Store located at 4111 Grand Avenue. Kelly Van Lindenboom, agent, 14th District. Item 0784, communication. Submitting a renewal cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device, retail license application, again, Building Corp. LLC. And Dollar General Store located at 4901 Washington Avenue, Kelly Van Lindenboom, agent, 12th District. 0685.
That's actually Renee's district.
That's my ears.
No, Renee's. Just around California.
0787, communication, requesting the appearance of Natasha Evans, agent of Select 627 LLC, Select 627, located at 1111 Washington Avenue, pursuant to a formal expression of concern and also requesting consideration for Sydney formal expression of concern. 0785, communication, requesting the appearance of Marco Lazar Frick, agent for Kafana LLC, DBA Marco's Neighborhood Bar, located at 301 Douglas Avenue, pursuant to a formal expression of concern and also requesting consideration of the city formal expression of concern.
There a second for this referral? Multiple seconds. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. We now move on to committee reports. Alder Land, did you have items for separate consideration?
Yes, Your Honor, I have 2 items.
Please read the first.
First one is 0558-25. Communication sponsored by myself and Alder Townsend requesting an update on the Racine Zoological Gardens and Western Museums. The contract with the Racine Zoological Society be approved. That's the recommendation. Funding for the contract with the Racine Zoological Society was approved. The 2025 operating budget, $500,000 in account 150995210. Move to approve.
There's a motion to approve item seconded by Alder Thompson. Alder Weiner.
Thank you. I just have a question on this, resolution just really specified. I know the contract has been approved, but I know for months we've been talking about if the zoo has actually been paid for their 2025 contract, so I question maybe for the finance department, or I'm not sure who, but
I'll direct your question to the city administrator, if he wants to come up to the DS. Sure.
Thank you for the question, Alderman. The discussion at Finance Committee earlier in the year was, and in fact was approved by the council, was to make all of the payments that had been budgeted for both the zoo contract and also for the Wasp and Ram contracts. So my understanding is that as of the second quarter that we've been making those payments in the amount that was budgeted. We've now completed discussions about the contract itself. So the action before the council today is the finance committee's approval of the operating agreement. And then we will be subsequently referring to finance personnel a separate agreement on land lease. In the conception of building future medication center and a veterinary center at the city.
thank you for that, and I believe all or one of these entities will be paid in a lump sum for the year 2025.
I don't recall if they were all paid in a lump sum. I believe that one of them was quarterly, but I don't recall which one it was. But the payments that we received of in the budget are being made.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the item? Seeing none, when the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish.
Alder Kelly,
Aye. Aye.
Alder Harmon,
Aye.
Alder Pavone, Alder Frazier,
Aye.
Alder Townsend,
Aye.
Alder Davis,
Aye.
Alder Mack,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alder Horton,
Aye.
Alder Skata,
Aye.
Alder Allen,
Aye.
Alder Pete,
Aye.
Alder Land,
Aye.
Alder Perez,
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion carries. Alderland, what was your second item for separate consideration?
0710-25. Communication sponsored by Mayor Mason Alder Mack on behalf of the Downtown Racine Corporation, requesting permission to close Main Street from State Street to 7th Street, 6th Street from Lake Avenue to Grand Avenue, Wisconsin Avenue from 4th to 7th Street for party on the pavement on September 20th of this year. The recommendation of the Public Works and Services Committees, this Finance and Personnel was that the request be approved. And then it went to Public Works and Services and permission be granted. There will be fiscal notes, there will be big costs for the various city departments on a regular shift basis to assist in implementing this event. Move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second from Alder Pavone on this item. Any discussion? Alder Widener?
Just a question, we don't have to vote separate on this, we can incorporate in, I just have a question. I did see this item, and perhaps I missed it on Public Works. Is it? Is that here? Sorry about that.
Okay.
Maybe somebody could explain to me though why this item would go to finance, but typically street closures only go to Public Works.
I'll direct your question to the city administrator.
Yes, Alderman, members of the council, the requests for the street closure around party on the pavement was directed to both Public Works and Finance and Personnel. Because in the past, there was, in addition to the street closure, there was also a grant of free parking, which has a financial impact to the city. So it was simultaneously assigned to both committees. In this case, the resolution that is for you is the street closure only. It does not include the parking request, so therefore there is no financial impact to the city.
When the clerk, Alder Johnson,
Never mind.
when the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish
Just for that item, or
for this item. Please vote. When the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish.
Alder Kelly,
Aye.
Alder Harmon,
Aye.
Alder Pavone,
Aye.
Alder Frazier.
Aye.
Alder Townsend,
Aye.
Alder Davis, Alder Matt,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alder Horton,
Aye.
Alder Escada,
Aye.
Alder Allen,
Aye.
Alder Pete,
Aye.
Alder Land,
Aye.
Alder Perez.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 no's.
Motion carries. We will then have, I'm sorry, Alder Land, did you have any other items for separate consideration? Okay, if you could read that item.
0543-25, communication sponsored by myself on behalf of Human Resource Benefits Manager requesting a hearing for finance and personnel to discuss employee health care plan options. It was deferred to the next meeting on July 7th, and then on July 7th, it was recommended to approve the health care program as presented. And then it was deferred again, this is what. 7/15/25. Oh, no, okay, I'm sorry, move to approve.
The motion to approve item 0543-25, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Pete. This again, as a reminder, which was robustly discussed last time, and the request was for a deferral. So this is the item that was deferred from last meeting. Any discussion on the itself, Alder Perez?
I've asked the HR person to come up so she can answer some questions.
Sure, if Amelia would like to approach the dais. Please state your question. No, please state your question.
One of the things that I looked at again, and maybe you can clarify it for us, was there were only 14 providers within Ascension Hospital, which is the only hospital in the city of Racine, none of which were specifically pediatrics. They were family medicine. Could you please clarify for me, because I know you did some research in how that plays out?
Yes, absolutely. So I did some research on my own. I looked up all of the providers that specialize in pediatric care, whether they were a specialty or overall general pediatric primaries. There are 5 in the Racine County area. One of them through Aurora, so that would be applicable to the WI-1 network, and then 4 through Ascension. So there are multiple pediatricians that are within the Racine County area. I was looking up primary care providers as well. I stopped counting after, I think it was 34, but there were more after that for primary care positions.
In a sense.
Yes, correct. So, I think it would be a lot of heavy education on my end as far as utilizing the provider search tool that Centevo has built. So I think that'll be a heavy lift on my end if this brings it up. There's a disruption analysis that I completed with Brown and Brown when looking at moving from our current network through United Healthcare to these 2 Centevo networks, WI-1 and WI-2. The Centevo WI-1 network, which includes Aurora Healthcare, covered 99% of our employee population based on claims that we had at that point. The WI-2 network covered 86%. So there is very, very high coverage and very low disruption if we were to move to these networks through Centevo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other discussion on this item? Alder Widener?
I just have a question, something that struck in my mind since our last meeting was the finance director had said that if we went with Centevo, that the additional cost would be 800,000 versus 2.8 million if we went with current. So I just like some clarification on that.
I will ask the finance director to answer that question instead of Amelia. Thank you. Oh, you might want to stay in front, Amelia, just in case there's other questions. Director Fisher.
Sure, thank you for the question, I think I heard it. So when I was up here previously, I did talk about the two different projections that we had at this point in time. Again, we're a little bit early in the year. But if we stay with what we have and only under the UHC network, and that's the only option for the employees, we are projecting an increase under UHC of about $2.2 million. Under this Centivo, the employees get an additional benefit of a choice. And our increase, we still would have probably a slight increase somewhere between $200,000 and $250,000.
Other questions or discussion on this item? Okay, seeing none, when the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish.
Alder Kelly,
No.
Alder Harmon,
Aye.
Alder Pabon,
Aye.
Alder Frazier,
Aye.
Alder Townsend,
No.
Alder Davis,
No.
Alder Matt,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
No.
Alder Horton,
Aye.
Alder Escada,
No.
Alder Allen,
Aye.
Alder Pete,
Aye.
Alder Land,
Aye.
Alder Perez.
No.
Eight ayes, 6 noes.
Motion passes. Alder Land, did you have any other items for separate consideration? And without objection, the remainder of these items will be placed on the consent agenda, and we will move on to the Public Works and Services Committee. Alder Mack, did you have any requests for separate consideration on any item?
I had none.
Okay, then, without objection, the entirety of your report will be placed on the, Alder Widener.
The report does not require a separate vote, it's just clarification. There was an item on the agenda for public works, item 0510, which was a communication from myself and our
I believe because it was received and filed that it doesn't appear on the report.
I'm concerned if a received and filed item that's in Legistar evaporates, it would not appear that there was any conclusion to that particular item. So I know you received and filed it, but I'm hoping that on the next Public Works Committee report, you can bring it back with a receive and file so that there is a conclusion to that item. I thought maybe it was deferred in.
It would have appeared on there then and said it's deferred.
Any other discussion on the items that are before us? Then without objection, these items will be placed on the consent agenda. And we'll move Alder Widener onto you with the Public Safety and Licensing Committee report. You have items for separate consideration.
The first item is 0672-25, which is a communication on behalf of the post office for a group application for a class A. We council minutes all beverage and intoxicating liquor license and cigarette, tobacco, and basically device retail license for Woodman's Food Mart, DBA Woodman's, located at 5430 Durand Avenue, Brittany, Durham, agent. No discussion on that, we just vote
Okay. Alder Widener, would you make the motion?
item.
Second.
There's a motion to approve the item from Alder Widener, seconded by Alder Pete. Alder Widener.
The only thing I'd like to say is that this item, as have been with the Twins, has passed unanimously in the Public Safety and Legislative Committee.
Alder Allen.
So,
Alder Pete, you don't have the floor right now, sorry. Alder Allen.
Okay, so I just wanted to make a comment regarding them. Because it has never been addressed since I've been on board or since our council. And when I have attended the licensing committee meetings, it has never been brought up, including when Twins was being considered. So I'm gonna ask the question now, because this is how I voted. There is an existing ordinance that communicates how a license is considered with the boundaries and, the considerations for children and things in place. It's been there, from what I understand, for a long time. On the other side of that, there have been these considerations where businesses have been afforded these licenses in spite of the ordinance. I attended the public licensing committee or safety licensing committee meeting when Twins spoke to the committee about their intention. It was a very quick meeting. There wasn't a lot of discussion about what the plans were. And my being new to the council at the time, I did not know to ask this question about the existing ordinance, which led to me giving a yes vote when it came in front of the council. Between that vote and the subsequent vote where I changed, I did a lot of my research, and that's how I found out about the ordinance, which is why I changed my vote. So someone please explain to me why the ordinance is in place and yet the ordinance has been waived to allow these special considerations for these businesses to open with these demographics being there that are addressed in the ordinance. Because if we're going to have the ordinance, follow the ordinance. Because that's how I'm going to vote. If we're not going to follow the ordinance, then we shouldn't have the ordinance. So can someone please clarify that for me? Because-
Alan, I'll refer your question to the city attorney.
Yes, because
sure.
the simplification that has been out there in the community and on the board as to why people vote the way they do. I vote because there's an ordinance in place that has not been addressed to me as to why we make these considerations. The attorney, please, thank you.
So
She's got the floor right now. She posed a question again. When he's done,
Decided that the question was not forward to the attorney.
she's posing it there. She has the floor. I'm referring it to the city attorney. When he's done, she still has the floor. You'll be in the queue next. City attorney.
yes, there is an ordinance in the city of Racine that relates to this. There's two pieces to it. One, there is a restriction on the total number of Class A licenses, both kinds of Class A licenses in the city. And there's a geographic restriction about how far Class A liquor licenses may be from other Class A licenses. And also within a certain distance, 300 feet of any place of worship, licensed daycare center, school, community center, or other facility predominantly attended by individuals under the age of 21. There is a provision in the ordinance that allows the common council, if it chooses, to exceed that quota number of licenses or the geographical restrictions if the common council votes by a 2/3 majority of all members present to allow the license to be issued notwithstanding those restrictions. So it's not, I know you didn't use the word ignoring, but it's not ignoring the ordinance. It's following the ordinance if the council decides under a certain circumstance that the quota or the geographical limitation or both should be exceeded.
So then I guess that I'm gonna go back to the other part of my statement then, is because if I'm just driving around Racine and I'm pointing out businesses, it seems that more often than not, there has been a waive to that ordinance, right? And so then it comes back to the question then, if we're going to allow this more often than not, then I guess I'm asking why the ordinance is still in place. As a new council member, I'm asking this. And then if we're going to make an exception for a business, then it's probably something that should be stated at the meeting as to why we're making an allowance for this particular business. Because we haven't done that, which again, that is what influenced my change in vote in the past, what I'm thinking through at this time now.
Alder Weiner.
I was just gonna say that, On our agenda this evening, under F, is a public hearing to exceed the geographical restrictions for Class A retail permitted malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for Woodman. Same thing happened when Quinn's came over the spot.
But that is not my question, Alder Weidner, my
Well,
question is.
Alder Allen, you don't have the floor right now, Alder Allen. If you want to speak again, you can ask me back in the queue. Alder Weiner has the floor.
All I was gonna say is that the public safety and licensing committee and this body, because of the public hearing that we had for both, treated both applicants the same. And I know that the public safety and licensing committee has been consistent both in their questioning and their rationale as to why they approved the licensing that they approved. And remember that the committee's vote is simply a recommendation to this body. The body has the perfect right to overrule that recommendation if that is their choosing.
Alder Pavone.
Yes, like I said, on public safety and licensing, and this is the same thing that we did with this plans, I'm not gonna rehash old things, but they follow the same way, same procedure. At the time, when we had a previous license in front of us for different organization, we went through, I don't even know, but like 7 hours of debate on the floor, but we talked about it in great length, so. The facts were known, and it's a geographical restriction and exception, that's in the ordinances, that's for. Alders that if they are not on the committee or are not aware, to reach out and give clarification as well as. And if they feel that I have the ordinance, then you can propose an ordinance to get rid of it, but I don't know how successful that would be. But as far as my committee goes, that I sit on, I know we do take a great deal of pride of examining what's in front of us. And deeming it worthy of a recommendation for an exception to what happened. As far as Woodman goes, I'm in favor of them having the license, this is as well as the Twins having the license. This is a geographical exception, as stated before, but as someone like Woodman, again, a big establishment, big store, they're gonna have an alcohol department of some sort. An extra revenue coming in, which is the same reason I voted the same way last time with the Twins. The only thing that we have to look for is, within 48 hours after this, if we approve it, but if there's anything coming from the mayor's office, but besides that, it's there, we're doing it. But we've talked about it in great deal at the public safety and licensing, at least looking over, the stack of this day that Woodman's handed to us, more than willing to give any of my fellow alders that stack as well, if they would like to look at it or talk to us about it. I don't think that this needs to drag on any longer, but that's not my decision, it's fine to decide, and I'll be voting in favor.
Alder Mack.
Thank you. I fear that, even if we approve this tonight, that, there could possibly be a different outcome if, actions are consistent with what's happened in the recent past. So I have two questions for the committee chair. Number one, if we don't approve this tonight, will women still move forward with their project? And the second question is, was any consideration given to granting them just a beer license? It was pointed out by former Alderman Cole that Target was denied a license to sell alcohol and beer, and eventually just granted a beer license. So two-part question would help me in processing this situation and anticipating what might happen in the future.
Alder Weiner, will you yield to the question?
I will. The first question was, would the project move forward if they were not granted an alcohol license? We did not ask if their project was gonna move forward because their project is almost complete. They're ready to open in September. They are kind of late in the game as far as applying for the license, but that's the way they chose to do it. As far as the second part of the question is where they offered the opportunity to have just a beer license. That question was not asked either.
I had one follow-up.
Go ahead, Alderman.
And does this need to go to the plan commission and were any of those approvals already sought out?
Well, I did ask the member on the PSL committee that is also a member of the plan commission, and he said that they have applied to everything that they were supposed to apply with as far as the community.
Alder Pete.
Thank you. I just want to add to what Chair Wyman had communicated was the other older person. And that is that Public Safety and License Committee does have specific guidelines that we have to follow. We don't just discuss and make up rules as they go along. We have to follow guidelines that are provided by the city attorney's office as well as the state of Wisconsin, because we're dealing with alcohol and tobacco license. So there's specific guidelines that we follow to determine which direction we're going in on the license and things like that.
Alder Allen, I see your hand. There's other people in the queue who not yet spoken. We'll get to Alder Herman.
Yes, before I make a statement, could Alder Widener please reread the communication that we're discussing?
Please proceed.
Item 0672, communication for a new application for
I'm talking about in the entirety, including the sponsor, please.
communication sponsored by Alder Harmon on behalf of the city clerk's office for a new application for a Class A retail fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license and cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device retail license for Woodlands Food Market, Inc., DBA Woodlands Food Market, Inc., number 45, located at 5430 Durand Avenue, Brittany, Georgia, agent 14th District, recommendation of the Public Safety Licensing on 7/30/25 was to approve. The fiscal note is not this. Thank you so much. Sometimes you forget to include my name as the sponsor. As alderman of the district, I approve this. I agree with public license, the safety and licensing recommendation for this. I have talked to the individuals of Woodman's. I've also talked to residents within the area. There has been no concern from any residents with regards to this licensing being approved, which is completely different from calls that I received when we voted on this same type of thing last time. Last time, I actually got calls from residents who were saying they did not approve it. When we had a public hearing on it, or when we were able to have comments from the community, there were people who again came forward and said that they didn't think that it was a good idea. They wanted fresh fruit and vegetables and food. Woodman's will have food, vegetables, including all of the things that a typical supermarket has. Also, the company has followed all steps. They have proven that they are committed to revitalizing the area, restructuring the business. They're almost done. We're going to be having an open house soon with regards to it. No neighbors have come against this, has come to me against this. And all individuals who spoke today even said that they approve it. They thought that maybe the decision making didn't seem fair, but overall they approved it. So I agree with Public Safety and Licensing Committee on approving this. Thank you.
Alder Prince. Alder Prince.
So a couple of things to consider here. I know that there was a discussion when we were first looking at Woodman's coming into the area. It'll be our major grocery store in the city. And most people expect Woodman's to be like the Woodman's that they've been at before. However, I want you to consider that we made a deal for a 10-year tax break to the developer for Woodman's as well. And although most people expect the to go into Woodman's and get everything, that also affects the neighboring businesses, not only in our city, but in other cities. Ralph Maliki actually told me that he was very concerned with Woodman's coming in there. I know he had the discussion with you. And that it takes away from all the other business, but it's a major grocery store. I love the fact that we have a major grocery store that has everything in it, even Cuban food, by the way. I was very impressed by that, with the other ones that I visited. So denying a liquor license to comply with our, and even a vapor, that's not gonna affect their business. People are not gonna go there just to buy liquor, they're gonna go there to do all their grocery. And the neighboring stores are gonna lose business as well. I mean, this is a major structure, it's gonna even include a car wash that's coming up in another couple of things here. And so, denying them to comply with our laws is not gonna be a big deal. People aren't gonna go there to buy tobacco, vapes, and alcohol. They're gonna go there to buy groceries, all kinds of groceries. And so, we shouldn't be giving them an exception just because they're a major grocery store. They're contributing to the community, we love it, even though we won't get any tax break, any tax income for 10 years from the developer. But, you know, the fact that they're there is it's a good service for our community. That also takes away business from all the other businesses, those mom and pops and other major stores that are around that. And whether they have the ability to sell alcohol, liquor, tobacco, vapes, is gonna affect their business as well. They will go into those stores to purchase some of those things that are already in place. They don't have to go to Woody's to do that. They can go there for their major grocery. So I want you to consider that. We're not really making any money on this, and they don't need to sell alcohol, vapes, tobacco, and cigarettes to be successful. They will be successful because they bring us a great product in a great grocery store, not an alcohol store. And this is the comment that I want to make.
Alder Allen for a second time.
Thank you. So it's a simplification for me, okay, because it wasn't that simple. When I come to the committee meeting, for instance, like the last committee meeting, there were applications there for licenses. And I physically drove to those locations, took pictures, walked into the store, talked to the person that was there, even though it wasn't my district, but I knew at some point it was gonna come in front for a vote. And then I was able to sit in your committee meeting and have actual, a vision in my mind about what their license was gonna look like in that space. And I'm very familiar also with Woodlands. So I'm not stupid, is the point I'm making. The second point that I'm gonna make is my question about the existing ordinance isn't particular about any particular business. It is a question about if we're making the allowance more often than not, then maybe at some point as a committee, we should address whether or not we even need the ordinance. That's 2. 3, it's not apples and apples. It's a different district. And when we had persons come here at the last meeting for Twins, they said, and so did a lot of people state, that the reason why they did not want it in that district was not District 14, it was District 1. And what they wanted was an actual grocery store, and they were concerned about the safety. And the only recommendation was, given what they want, an actual grocery store, and then come back and revisit the other components. That's what that district, those residents were asking for, and they should have been valued and respected for coming to the council, as someone said earlier, though we don't respond to public comments, afraid to come. They weren't afraid to come in front of the council and state their reasons for what they wanted in their community, and it should have been respected. So it's not apples and apples, it's apples and oranges. It's a completely different side of town. And the question remains, we have an ordinance. At some point, the committee should consider whether or not we need the ordinance, and there is more oftentimes than not that we're making an allowance. I'm not.
Alder Harmon for a second time.
Thank you, Alder Allen. I appreciate the statement and I completely understand where it's coming from. The practice in the past has been to allow the alder of the district to do the footwork, to get the understanding of what the residents and the constituents want in that district, and then for the rest of the council to support it. That has been the case many times than not. Not only is Woodman's bringing in, necessary items for resident, it's also bringing in a lot more jobs. A 24-hour grocery store, a lot more jobs that is definitely beneficial not only to that district, but to Racine as a whole. They have an established reputation, and again, they followed the necessary steps. They didn't put the cart before the horse and ask for licenses before even completing a building, before hiring people. And I think all of that should be taken into consideration when we vote. I again agree with public safety and licensing to approve this, and for several reasons. Again, there's job creation, it's a necessary business in the area, and there has been no residents who have come to me as the alder who have said that this is something that they don't want. Thank you.
Any further discussion on the Alder Davis?
My first question is for this item, 072-25. It's just are we having a vote for the part where, the, exceeding? Or will we have a separate vote for that?
So this is the vote regarding. Right, there's 3 items that are here. I'll ask, if I may, ask the city attorney to explain the 3 items. I assume, I'm predicting we might have separate consideration on the other 2. But I'll ask the city attorney to make the distinction between this item and the next 2. They're all related to the same project, but they are 3 separate items.
So this one is on the Class A fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license. So yes, the liquor license. And also in this item is the cigarette, tobacco, and vaping device retail license for the food market. The next item is for a gas service station license and the cigarette, tobacco, and vaping license for the gas station piece of the Woodman's. But the third item, yes, is specifically on whether or not to exceed the geographical and quota restrictions for the Class A license.
Does that clarify?
That clarifies, so my thing will be, if we have separate consideration for the exceeding, I'll say that statement for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alder Perez for a second time.
If the agent is here, can we ask them if they will go forward with just a beer license instead of our liquor license?
So we're not able to do that at this time. It was not, we did have public comment earlier. This is not an item that's noticed for public comment. So no, we can't invite the agent to come up and speak to it.
Okay.
Any further discussion on the item? See none. When the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish.
Alder Kelly,
Aye.
Alder Harmon,
Aye.
Alder Pavone,
Aye.
Alder Frazier,
Aye.
Alder Townsend,
Aye.
Alder Davis,
Aye.
Alder Mack,
Aye.
Alderman Widener, Alder Horton,
Aye.
Alder Skada, Alder Allen,
Aye.
Alder Pete,
Aye.
Alder Land,
Aye.
Alder Perez.
No.
13 ayes, 1 no.
Motion carries. Alder Widener, did you have another item for separate consideration?
73-25, communication. On behalf of.
No, point of order, please.
What's your,
Point of order.
what's your point of order?
My point of order is that we are to respect the communication that is written out. We have always communicated who the sponsor is, and it seems like Alder Widener is being petty and not mentioning my name. I would like for her to communicate who the sponsor is of this communication. Thank you.
If the chair of the committee could read the item in its entirety, please.
Do that this time, but just so everybody understands.
Thank you.
As is my way, I do not read who the sponsor is.
Yes, you have.
On any communication.
Yes, you have.
If Alder Weiner, who has the floor, could please read the item in its entirety as requested.
Communications sponsored by Albert Harmon on behalf of the city clerk's office for a new application for a gas service station and cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device retail license for Woodland Food Mart, seasonally Woodland Food Mart, Inc., number 45, located at 5900 Durand Avenue, Griffin Authority Agent, 14th District. Recommendation of the Public Safety and Licensing Committee at 7:30 was to approve the physical note as NA.
I'd like to make a motion on this item, Alder White.
I'm never go for.
So a motion to approve by Alder Weidner, seconded by Alder Pavone. Any further discussion on this specific item? Seeing none, when the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish.
Alder Kelly,
Aye.
Alder Harmon,
Aye.
Alder Pavone,
Aye.
Alder Frazier,
Aye.
Alder Townsend,
Aye.
Alder Davis.
In the restroom.
Alder Mack,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alder Horton,
Aye.
Alder Skada,
Aye.
Alder Allen, Alder Pete,
Aye.
Alder Land,
Aye.
Alder Perez.
Aye.
13 ayes, 1 excused.
Alder, that motion passes. Alder Weidner, did you have any other items for separate consideration?
Item 0674-5, subject communications sponsored by Alder Harmon on behalf of the city clerk's office for a new petition to exceed geographical and photo restrictions for a Class A retail fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for Woodland Food Mart in PA Woodland Food Mart number 45, located at 5430 Durand Avenue for a Florida agent for the district. Recommendation of the Public Safety and Licensing Committee on 7/30/2025 was to approve. The fiscal note is NA. Move to approve the item.
The motion to approve the item, seconded by Alder Pavone. No?
Alder Pete, I said it.
Alder,
Wherever you want.
Alder Pete will be the second then. Discussion on the item. Alder Davis, this was the item you were inquiring about earlier. Would you like to speak to the item?
Right, thank you. So tonight I'm in support of Woodland's request to exceed the geographical restrictions for Class A license. This position is not new for me. I supported the previous development that came before us with a similar request. I supported Save-A-Lot that came before us. My support has always been rooted in fairness, consistency, and a genuine desire to see Racine grow in ways that serve our community. But tonight, as we consider this request, I must speak to a concern that many of us carry. Why was the same request denied when it came from another development not long ago? What was lacking then that is present now? What criteria has shifted, if any, for us to approve for this one? The community deserves to understand not just what of our decisions, but the whys of our decisions. I still am receiving calls and running into folks in the community that want to know why the previous development was denied. Because when our decisions appear inconsistent, when our decisions appear inconsistent, trust begins to fade. And when trust fades, so does our ability to lead with unity. This is more than a license. It's about transparency. It's about equity. And it's about ensuring that every developer, every business, and every resident is treated the same way, on the same level of respect and consideration. We must ask ourselves, what kind of investment do we want in Racine? What is the vision we are building toward? Not behind closed doors, but out in the open with our community as full participants. Racine does not move forward on the shoulders of one. It moves forward through the voices of many So let me be clear, let's be fair, and let's be consistent. If we are to move our city forward, we must do it together with transparency, with accountability, and with a shared commitment to serve all, on all the corners of the city. All the districts, all the corners, no matter if it's 14th or First. This is our city, our vision, our future. Let's build it together. Let's come together. Thank you. My comment is closed.
Alder Allen.
Okay, so then I'll just reiterate, since we are gonna go over it again. The reason about transparency and fairness means that you start with the ordinance that's in place, and then you recognize that there is a difference between one district and another. And if there is going to be fairness, then the fair thing to do is that when we have a public hearing about a business going into a district, and those people from that district come into in front of us and state their concerns about their district, the fairness is that you value their voices, just like you value the voices of other people who might be in favor of such a business. That's number one. Number two, if we're going to go out to our community and we're going to ask our community about how they feel about things, well, I was just at my other board meeting, and there's a huge concern about how many vaping licenses are being brought into this city. And a lot of parents and families are contacting us on the school board, asking them about what we're doing about that. So when you're talking about listening to the voices in our city and how our city wants to move forward, it isn't always going to be in favor of a particular business, or everybody's going to agree. You are going to sometimes have to take into consideration why you're going to waive something in one area of the city and why you're going to take a slower pace in another, especially if you have people that live there coming to you and saying, hey, we want it considered this way. That is what fair and transparency is, ma'am. And so when we're doing this, the other part is when we make a vote here in this committee, it is up for us to communicate just those differentiations and not to encourage communication out in the community that causes a problem or a safety concern for those of us that are on the committee. Don't look confused. Because right after that last vote came out, we also had go out to the committee, oh, these people voted because they're trying to stop.
Order.
No, it's not a point of order.
Point of order.
No, if you want to communicate the fair.
You can state your point of order, Alder Davis.
If you're going.
Alder Davis is a point.
About the geographical location of this item here, we're off topic.
No, we're not.
So,
All right, just to be consistent, Alder Davis, you broached this topic.
You did.
yes, but
You-
no.
you-
They want directly and they wanna get into their feelings, they need to bag it up
I
and
am
go into the business.
100% in my professional field in addressing what you said. And
Because
what
they
I'm
wanna have
saying.
clarity about.
Alder Davis, you do not have the floor.
That when we vote on something, we take consideration of every voice in this community, and it's not always going to be in favor of a business, and it is not, one district is not an apple to another. There are differences in our city. And people have a right to come in front of our committee and expect that we're going to value their voices just like we value everyone else's. You can't say transparency and fairness and then back up off of somebody coming here and saying that we're concerned about the safety in our community and what we want is this, that, and the other. You cannot do that and then stress transparency and fairness.
Alder Weidner.
Thank you. As having been a member of public safety and licensing committee on and off for probably 2 decades, and now serving again as chair of public safety and licensing, I do want to speak on behalf of the committee to say that the committee does not look at the district. The city looks at the situation, the license that's being applied for, and we apply, as we've been instructed by the city attorney's office and the clerk's office, our recommendations have been consistent. It is up to this body to decide if they want to go along with the recommendation of the committee or not. But as long as I'm on that committee and as long as I chair that committee, the committee will be consistent in their recommendation to this committee. And then this committee can decide if they want to move forward.
Alder Pete.
Thank you. I have to reiterate what Alder Weidner just stated, and I said it before, there are very specific guidelines that we have to follow. I won't reiterate the whole guideline, you can look them up, or I can provide them for you, but we don't just do it based on many of the things we've heard here tonight. There are very specific guidelines.
Order. Alder Pete, you have the floor.
And
One at a time, please.
as Alder Widener stated, that, and even when I was, even last year, when I was here, we were always been consistent with community issues, that it's oftentimes a controversial. So, but we are very consistent and fair, but as we go through the process, procedures that we use as public safety license before we make a recommendation. Thank you.
Other discussion on this item? Alder Harmon.
Thank you, Mayor, I appreciate it. I have heard, multiple times that there are individuals who don't understand why there is a difference in the vote from previous to now. Because I am one of the people who changed my vote. I will share why I changed my vote. The first reason why,
Alder Harmon has the floor.
the first reason why I changed my vote was because there were constituents within that area that came to me and said, who is there to speak on my behalf right now against this happening? That's one reason I changed my vote. The second reason I changed my vote is because when the council voted, the alder of the district wasn't here to weigh in on the subject. And again, typically our practice is to support the alder in their decision that is associated with their district. And the third reason I changed my vote is because I actually met with the Twins managers who were going into the creation of that. And I was told personally that they were going to continue to do this business even if they didn't get a license. That's what I was told face to face. And so
No, it's not.
those were. That's what I was told.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, so.
Alder Harmon has the floor.
So, when you get additional information that supports a value of supporting a community and their constituents, I will always reserve the right to change my vote if the outcome is to better prepare a community, constituents, and alder for success and safety in the city of Racine. Thank you.
Oscar. Not, you should not be advised. You need to be to the side or you need to set.
Any other discussion on this topic? Seeing none, when the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish.
Alder Kelly,
Aye.
Alder Harmon,
Aye.
Alder Babone.
Aye.
Alder Frazier,
Aye.
Alder Townsend,
Aye.
Alder Davis,
Aye.
Alder Mack,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alder Horton,
Aye.
Alder Skada,
Aye.
Alder Allen, Alder Pete,
Aye.
Alder Lamb,
Aye.
Alder Perez.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 noes.
That motion passed unanimously. Alder Weiner, did you have other items for separate consideration? Okay, then the remainder of these items will be placed on today's consent agenda. We'll now move on to the Planning Heritage Design Report. Alder Pete, did you have a request for separate consideration on this item?
No, sir, I do not.
Then without objection, this item will be placed on the consent agenda. We'll then move on to the CDBG Advisory Board report. Alder Horton, did you have any requests for separate consideration?
At this time,
Alder Weiner?
Alder Mack has shared that, maybe,
Oh, okay.
I would like these items to be read and voted on separately. And there is what I believe to be an error on the first item of the CDBG report about what the First, that chair of the CDBG legal item.
Alder Horton, any objections to Alder Mack, for the report? Alder Mack, would you like to read the first item?
Item 0695-25, communication sponsored by Alder Widener on behalf of the city clerk's office, submitting an I'm sorry.
Yes. We're on the top of page 19.
Yeah, my pages are flipped.
Huh?
And it's been confusing all night. All right,
0588 is the first item.
yeah,
Alder Mack.
page 18 cut off there, okay. 0588-25, communication sponsored by Mayor Mason that the fiscal year 2025-2029 5-year consolidated plan, including the 2025 annual action plan, be approved and adopted. The recommendation of the CDBG Advisory Board on 7/28/25 was to approve the fiscal year 2025-2029 consolidated plan and the fiscal year 2025 annual action plan, and authorize staff from the City Development Department to submit the plan to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The fiscal note is fiscal year 2025 funds will be expended according to HUD regulations for CDBG in the amount of $1,771,629. The home funds, $515,160, and the emergency service grant of $158,967. The city of Racine expects to receive around 14 million in CDBG home and ESG funds over the course of the next 5 years. The comp plan and AAP will guide the use and allocation of those funds towards community development and affordable housing needs. I would move approval of the item.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the item. Alder Widener.
Thank you. This item needs a correction. In the committee, we voted to approve the 2025-2029 consolidated plan because we were under a time restriction. What we did not approve because of the fiscal, that item was deferred. So we did not approve the expenditures that are listed in the fiscal note. And I don't know if all of that calls it the same thing that I do, but we did not approve expending.
I recall it differently. The grant amount, the way it's written, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't wanna mess this up, is the federal 2025 funds will be expended according to HUD regulations. All we have there is the amount that HUD has approved for Racine. The spending plan is not being approved by this action.
Alder
That's
Mack,
my understanding from the meeting.
if it's all right with you, I'd like to refer to the director for clarification on that point.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all, Alderman.
May I have your attention, please? In public live.
Please hold.
Approximately in 20 minutes. If you have any material to share out, please do so now. Also, internet channels will shut down at 7:55. Thank you.
Director Williams, please proceed.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman, you are correct. We are approving the budgets, for the appropriation of the funds across all lines. Please be reminded that those things can be amended in the future if necessary. However, what we did not, approve was the special service, dollars. That will be coming back to you at a later date. But we are approving the allocations for the different buckets as required by HUD. Let me explain why we are here. Back then, when the Big Beautiful Bill was passed, we were not aware, if this funding would continue. So we wanted to be prudent and, make sure that we were in the best position to understand how that would impact our community. So we delayed, bringing this to committee to find out what actually happened. On July 14th, if I'm correct, it was later put back into the budget that these funds will be available for 2026. So again, we are under guidelines by HUD to submit a plan and have it approved to receive the funds that we are entitled to. And again, I will remind the alderman that
those budget amounts can be amended in the future. As you will see later on this evening, we are moving funds around from one bucket to the next. And we can do that anytime we want or deem necessary based on strategic priorities.
Alder Weidner?
Thank you. Then I need clarification from the city attorney. Because I submitted a communication to the CDBG committee. And that's what I would have to do if I wanted to amend what's in the bucket. Is I would have to submit a communication to the council, to the CDBG to amend as a member of that committee. But I was told by the clerk's office and affirmed by the city attorney that an alderman does not have the ability to submit a communication to any committee except to a standing committee. So therefore, if a member of the CDBG committee, other than the chair, whether it's a public member or an alderman member, if they wish to amend these buckets, how do they do that? If we don't have the ability to submit a request to the committee.
You can submit a request to committee, it's just not referred to the standing committees. I'll refer your question to the city attorney.
You may have missed my last email on it, Alderman Widener. What I said was that the common council, communication to the common council don't get referred to any bodies other than standing committees. Anybody any alder can ask for a communication to any of the commissions, boards, and authorities of the city of Racine. Ultimately, it's up to the chair whether something is put on an agenda. However, the body can decide something needs to be put on the agenda as well. So communication to CDBG would actually be submitted directly to CDBG, not a communication that goes on a common council agenda or referral to CDBG.
So I want to bring us back to the item before us, which is item 0588-25. Just again to clarify, we're voting on tonight the types of funding we're sending this to. We're not allocating any of these funds this evening. It's the types of funding allocations that'll be there to get us in good standing with HUD on these dollars. Alder Widener for a second time. Yes.
Question for the director. So the bucket that you speak of, there's a bucket for the CDBG, there's a bucket for home, and there's a bucket for ESG. correct?
That's good.
Are there buckets inside the buckets?
Yes, we are.
But we're not approving the buckets inside the buckets, we're just approving the big bucket for each, right? We're not approving what the staff recommended in each of the individual buckets, correct?
We are approving the use of the funds that were allocated to the city of Racine. We are approving the different buckets that can be amended for future consideration.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we are approving the buckets that are inside the bucket.
We're approving the types of funding that's available for the community to spend. Again, none of this is an allocation this evening. It's just designating the types of programming these funding sources will go to. Seeing no further discussion on the item, when the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish.
Alder Kelly,
Aye.
Alder Harmon,
Aye.
Alder Pavone,
Aye.
Alder Frazier, Alder Townsend,
Aye.
Alder Davis, Alder Mack,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
No?
Alder Horton,
Aye.
Alder Skada,
Aye.
Alder Allen,
Aye.
Alder Pete,
Aye.
Alder Land,
Aye.
Alder Perez.
Aye.
It's gonna be 13 ayes, 1 no.
Alder Weiner, did you want the other items for separate consideration as well? Okay. And without objection, the remainder of these items will be placed on the consent agenda. And that will move us to the consent agenda. Alder Harmon, at this time, I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second? Many seconds. All those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye. Opposed? That motion carries, and we are on to announcements. Just as a reminder, announcements are limited to the recognition of city residents and employees, memorials, and non-political community events. Discussion of matters related to governmental business is prohibited. Alder Harmon.
Yes, I would like to commend the city of Racine for the outstanding work, as well as the sheriff's department, the police department, the fire department, for yesterday's, National Night Out. I went to a couple of those events. They went very well. There were, vendors, looking for the word. There were vendors that were willing to donate time, food, and effort into making it a success. It made me proud of our community and our ability to engage and come together. So I just wanted to commend everyone involved in that, especially City of Racine, and making that a wonderful event.
Well said. Other announcements, Alder Mack.
Thank you. First, I'd like to recognize my grandsons tonight. They are sitting in the back there, Kai, who is 9 years old, and Tanner, who's 6. They are the same age that my children were when I first got elected. And my children, used to sit in the front row of City Hall, many, many times. So they have had a back row seat to civic government. I hope that it's a positive experience. I'd also like to commend them for being so well behaved tonight and quiet, which is not something that I always get. But I just wanted to recognize them. Secondly, next Monday, my wife and I will be celebrating our 35th wedding anniversary. So I would like to wish her a happy anniversary and thank her for putting up with many, many years of public and community service. My sympathies go out to the family of the young lady who drowned this past weekend. I'll be attending that funeral on Friday, and my heart breaks for that family, and they're going through a very difficult time. And the last item I want to bring up is several months ago, a communication of all things resulted in a robust debate and discussion about where an item would go. Ultimately, that item landed in Public Works and the Finance Committee, and it had to do with fixing the Mound Cemetery fountain. Well, we directed staff to find out what was wrong with the fountain and how much it would cost. And then we would see, is there money internally to fix it or not? So it wasn't something that was like, it came to us and then they had to do some research. But before they could finish doing their research, 2 gentlemen from the community stepped in and donated their time and materials, and they fixed that fountain in Mound Cemetery. So our item was received and filed also with the directive that both the Commissioner of Public Works and the Director of Parks and Recreation would send those 2 individuals a letter of thank you. But I don't know their names, so I apologize, but I wanna publicly thank them this evening for their work, and that is Rich Wayne. Jody Wade, oh no,
Right.
their names aren't on here. Richard Wagner and Jeff Harvey, with Grimstead, Electrical Engineering. So I think that's really great when we can have these public-private partnerships. It did not cost the city anything to fix it. And, these gentlemen stepped up, and I think that's just a wonderful thing. When I was in government, I always, did my best to develop public-private partnerships where, you know, there was some mutual benefit to it. And their benefit is they can feel good about it being fixed. And then we have a fountain that got done right away. So thank you, gentlemen, for that.
Thank you. Other announcements? Alder Perez.
Yes, also, I'm totally in agreement with Alder Harmon. The staff did an amazing job on National Night Out. Maurice was there doing his thing, and several alders were there as well. A wonderful community event, one of the biggest ones locally in the state. We're so excited that our community is really coming together to work on this and to keep our community safe, because it really does do that. And so to our police officers that are there, firefighters that are there, and all the other workers over there, I just want to thank them as well for their great job. And especially Racine neighborhood. Watch. Thank you. And in addition to that, it's my wife's birthday coming up, and she told me last time not to say how old she was, so I'm not gonna do that. It's her birthday coming up. I would wish her a happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Alder Allen.
Thank you. So I'm gonna piggyback off of Alder Harmon and Alder Coretta. And yesterday was my first neighborhood watch and I loved it. I want to give a shout out to Shelley at Kinsey Corner. She did an awesome job over there. And then to George Nix and Q Shakur, what they did at Halo. If you all didn't go over there where they were cooking on the grill, you missed it. I also want to say that today is the 60th anniversary of the Voters' Right Act. And they had some wonderful events going on at the state capitol, and I was able to attend that, and it was very, very educational. And then the last thing is, on August 8th is the Fiesta de Latino event that's going to be downtown on Main Street. So that's gonna be a great event to attend.
Great. Other announcement, Alder Pavone.
Yes, today is one of my nieces, Faith, her 16th birthday, so happy birthday to her. I also have a birthday later this month, but figure that later. And I just wanted to again offer condolences to the drowning victim and their family. But also take a second to piggyback and say that the night out was a really fantastic example of the good that we do have, the good that we can do. So if there are people, anyone wondering where the good is, where the sense of community is, I invite them next year to mark the date on their calendar for the night out and pull up. Because there's a lot of good going on, a lot of good people, a lot of smiles, smiling faces, kids on fire trucks, just all sorts of great things. So kudos to everyone that made that happen and attended.
Other announcements? Alder Davis.
Thank you. I like this too. One, a shout out to all my fellow Leos whose birthday are coming up. In the August Leos. Second, a shout out to all our young entrepreneurs this summer. I've seen a lot of little lemonade and Kool-Aid stands. They are out here finding out how to be an entrepreneur or business owner, and that they got the hustle in them. I just want to shout them out. Keep on, keep it up.
Other announcements? Alder Whitener.
I too want to say, give a great big thank you to Jody Wagner, the person that approached a couple of them, myself included, in regards to the fountain at Mount Cemetery. She recognized how important it is that their fountain be operational. The fountain is a reason that many people have bought crypts at the Mount Cemetery. That's the crypts surround the fountain. She has several family members buried there and was determined by hook or by crook to get that fountain up and running. So she did approach her husband, Mr. Richard Wagner, and the electrical engineering manager from Grimstead, out of the Speedville, Mr. Jeff Harvey, was able to get that fountain up and running. And she wanted to give a special thank you to Tom Wolbeck as well, and Jacob Burchett, who is the City of Racine Secretary Labor Supervisor. And she just informed me today on my way in here that Mount Cemetery is getting a new timer installed this morning, as it was determined the old one pooped out. Everything else tested out fine. The electrical switches were all reinstalled correctly, and the pump and the hydraulics and the plug all to be okay and tested out fine. So she says, so very thankful for my husband Rich Wagner and his co-worker Jeff Hardy for their capabilities. That fountain was run last weekend for my grandma's 150th birthday. I'm granting the people buried in crypts there. So it's too long to thank Jody for bringing us to our attention and getting that taken care of.
Alder Perez, did you have a second announcement?
Yeah, just to follow up on what Sandy said, I appreciate the Wagner State, are very involved. But we also have the cheapest burial sites and accessibility to crypts in the whole county. So if you're needing a place to
Dar,
have a plot, the scene is the place to come get it.
Okay, any other announcements?
I'm done, cause I'm done.
All right, generally, we have everybody speak to on any motion moving forward. I'm just saying announcements. Can we do it one and done, but all the, please go.
Main Gallery celebrating their 30th anniversary. They showcased an auction this past week and it was just amazing. I look forward to seeing the Main Gallery around for another 30 years. It's awesome, all the work that the youth created. The bidding was like, it was a bid war. It was exciting. So I just wanted to mention and shout out to the Parks and Rec Department tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, seeing no other announcements, I will say just a couple things I wanted to mention. I just wanted to echo Alder Pavone's sentiment. You know, we have discussions in here that can get heated. We have differences of opinions. There's a lot of really great things that happen in the community. I just wanted to mention a couple of them. First of all, if you were at National Night Out and you thought, wait, you were at National Night Out? I didn't see you there. It's because there's like 40 events across the city, right? So that's kind of amazing. I don't know of any other city that has that many locations for National Night Out. Neighborhood Watch estimated nearly 5,000 people from across the city attended those events. That is extraordinary. I also wanted to give props to the Main Gallery event. It was great. They were at the branch and it was just great to see young people excited about their art and the work that we do. We are one of the very few communities in the country that have a paid position for young people to create art throughout the summer. So it's a unique thing and it was great. We renamed Bishop Kirby Lane with Alder Harmon and other people's folks. It was actually really great. Pillar Health. The federally qualified health clinic opened this week officially at the ribbon cutting in Julian Thomas School. So if you know people who are looking for access to a doctor or mental health care or a nurse practitioner, that facility is open now and is the advent of our preparation for the community center health clinic, which is going up if you drive by to see it getting done. And the youth employment program concludes this week. We had nearly 50 young people from this community, ages 16 to 24, interning in each of our departments this year. That comes to a conclusion this week, but they did great work. It exposes them to public sector careers and public safety and water and wastewater and public works and parks and everything in between. And so we really appreciate the work that they did. I do have one note in memoriam. I do want to adjourn in Teresa McMorris, a longtime family friend of ours. She served on the CDBG advisory board for a time, but I've known Teresa and her family since she worked with my mom in Parkside. So going back to I think in high school when I first met Teresa, and I will really miss her light and her enthusiasm. So I wanted to adjourn tonight in her honor. If there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor, please say aye.